Brain, the #1 fastest map player, finds himself in a series versus Zelot, a man who loves fast games. What's going to happen between these two? I'm sure it's going to be an explosive series with lots of quick matches. And that's what I'm looking forward to. Guys, welcome back to another Broodwar ladder battle. We're going to be taking a look at a long series on ladder that was played in 2025 between these two. We just recently got done recording, casting Brain versus Speed, which is an epic series. Such a good video, guys. I hope you have checked that out. If you haven't, definitely go give that a watch. It ended up being 2 different parts because it was 14 games long, but it was an incredible experience. Very interesting to see the way that Speed adapted in that series, but I digress. We've got Zelot opening up with a pool. He has his hatchery on the way now. It was an overpool from him. Let's see what kind of shenanigans he pulls out, because Zelot in ZVP is a little bit different than ZVT, right? ZVT, he has these very precise builds that he attempts to hit, whether it's a guardian play or some sort of all-in with lurkers or what have you. He tends to try to end things very early in both matchups, but in ZVP, he's a little bit different. It's a little bit different the way that he plays these games. He likes to stay on layer tech and end things early, but it's not with some really extremely precise timing. It's more with just tempo. He just keeps the pressure on you. It keeps hitting you and preventing you from taking more bases. And in this game, he's actually going to make a ton of lings. Wow, he really wants to get in here early and try to break Brain open. Brain is on one of his barcode accounts. There's been no chatter between these two, so I doubt that they know who each other is. They're just playing a random ladder game for now. And trying to get this cannon online is Brain. Is there going to be an opportunity to maybe... Oh, there's that Zelot popping out. He managed to force it to the outside, but Brain runs away with that. Oh gosh, he's letting the... No, don't let the lings through. Oh my god, 3 lings get on top of that. The cannon is getting super low. It will get canceled. Oh, Brain really messed this up. And he loses the second cannon as well. The speed kicks in. And Brain is in a whole heck of a lot of trouble. He really needs to get the block. Once again in this wall. What is he doing? Get the probe in there. Okay, second Zelot pops out. There's not a lot of probes in this main base. I can't believe Brain panicked there. He pulled his probes out to the front and tried to fight, trying to keep that gateway alive, but it's not even close to actually going down. The Zealots don't need to come out right now. You just need to save this cannon. Keep the cannon alive. What are we doing? Keep the Zealots in the wall. All right, that cannon is going to go up. And finally, we're going to get the surround on one of these Zealots, but he can't get past. He does get the gateway, however. And there is no cybernetics core. And it would have been great if he had just barely managed to put down the cybernetics core before that gateway went down. But unfortunately, he missed his opportunity. He had 200 minerals, you saw, as the gateway went down, so he could have dropped that in the main. And then he would have had those Corsairs in time, but as it stands, we've got a layer on the way. I think the follow-up is going to be a Spire, and with the Spire coming online so early, I doubt that we're gonna see Brain have anti-air available for when this arrives. I mean, he might have 1 Corsair out. That's probably what we're gonna end up seeing. Brain needs to figure out what's going on and quickly start throwing down cannons in his mineral line. Put a pylon at least, get ready for that cannon. but seems like he's not aware of his position. Maybe he thinks that there's going to be a follow-up bust from Hydralisk or something like that, but this is definitely an all-in Mutalisk play from Zelot. Feels like Brain did really panic in this series. Yeah, he throws down another cannon. Or in this game, excuse me. He throws down another cannon at the front. Yeah, he hasn't sniffed it out yet. Oh boy. He starts a Citadel. He really thinks that it's going to be Hydralisk, guys. He is assuming that this is going to be Hydralisk. The Citadel only makes sense if it's Hydra. If you have... If it's like a very low money Hydralisk build, and you're only going to be sending a few Hydras at a time, if you could just get like 3 gateways worth of Zealots out and with speed early on, then you can easily just crush that. It's like all of these Zealots are going to be eaten up. The 2 cannons come in handy now because now the Lings won't be able to run by at least. Or most of them will die if they try to run by. But 4 Mutas are on the way. His position is actually great. Yeah, he's going into 4 Gateway Zealot. And it's just not going to work out. A 3rd cannon coming up. He really thinks that it's just going to be Hydras. He has no idea what he's in for. Here comes those Mutas. This should be a tap out moment. He starts his air weapon. For some reason, I have no idea why. He doesn't even have a Stargate, so you know what's the point of that air weapon, Brain? Well, that was a quick game. As expected, Zealot getting one over on Brain, but that won't work twice, right? He's gonna know that's what you're going for if you try to snipe that gateway again. See what happens in game number 2. Brain, from the last series, we could tell that he is a competent player, very strong Protoss, but it seems that he's unaware of how a lot of these awkward situations play out. The situations that Zelot loves to put his opponents in, where you have to kind of think on the fly and realize what's going on. Just so out of the ordinary. You haven't really played these types of games a lot, but you have to kind of know what's happening and what your opponent is capable of in certain situations that you may not have. You know, you might, if you're playing like a normal game with 6 hatch Hydra and you've gone for a Forge opener or something, you kind of know what your opponent is capable of, how many Hydras they can have, you know, what kind of things that they can pop out, you know, their lurker timing, that type of thing, right? But it's tough when you've only had a few games in a certain situation to work out exactly what the best way is to play. If you played against that normal type of build, that normal situation, you know, thousands of times, you might have played against these kind of early game weird situations that Zelot will put you in maybe tens of times. And that's what he relies on. He's going to be throwing down his hatchery kind of close to his opponent. Leads me to believe he may end up going for some early game harassment. Okay, hold on. That pylon is pretty annoying. It only made 2 Lings. And this can just sit here and last for a long time. This is really slowing down the 3rd base. Just had to produce some more units. You know, he's gone up to 15 supply. Just spending some of that money. Pretty annoying. You don't see a lot of Protoss players do that. I think it's actually quite strong, but most professional Protoss players will not opt to put down the pylon and kind of let it go through its life cycle, like let it build all the way to the end and then cancel. But with 2 Lings, you can't kill that. 2 Lings are not enough damage to stop the pylon from building, so I think it's a good move. Gonna spot that 3rd base and how close it is to his own natural. Hydralisk Den on the way as expected. It's gonna be putting on early pressure for sure with the hatchery this close. Not gonna probably go for a normal macro play. And the probe will get back in here and see the Hydralisk Den. Now, Just because you've seen the Hydralisk Den, I mean, it gives you good information. You kind of know what's happening. At least you know that there's not going to be a Spire early on. But you don't really know if this is going to be a full-on Hydralisk bust, if it's going to be, you know, a semi-commitment or a full commitment, or what exactly is going through Zelot's head. And really, Zelot can change his mind once this probe is taken care of. Once the probe is pushed away, then he can immediately just decide to change up the game plan and go for something else. Start building up drones and just, you know, trade up into, yeah, he's even building drones right now, right? He's already got 5 drones at the third, 3 at the natural. So he actually needs a few more to get to 973. And so adding on just those extra 2 drones, that might be, you know, reaching that number. He's got a miss rally there. A little bit unfortunate. Need to get that drone back. The income at this point is so low. Can't be wasting any time with these drones. He does send that one back. Some Zealots headed out on the map. He's actually going to come into the natural and try to make a big stink. Force his opponent back. You can see he's gone for the same build as what he did last time. Except this time it's actually in a good situation. This is a smart build for the situation. Like 3 Hydras at the front. Those 2 Zealots are going to make their way into the natural and start to attack some drones, which will be really annoying for Zelot to deal with back at home. Only 2 cannons are done though. This is really risky. Really risky, but he's going to have a lot of Zealots soon. Those Zealots are going to start dealing some damage really quickly. Killing off a Hydra, possibly, in this main base. No, he's just dealing some damage, some good micro. Okay, gets 1 Hydra, that's good. Gets 1 Hydra, and he's stopping these from mining, and he's slowing down all of these reinforcements. That's perfect. He just needs to buy a few more seconds, and Zealot speed will be done. He's making 2 more gateways in the main, going up to 5 gates. Well, this gate's probably going to die, so he'll be on 4 gates. 4-gate Zealot with speed is amazing. It's so good against Hydra all-in or Hydra early bust. It's great. 3-hatch Hydra cannot really stand against 4 Zealot Dragoon with, or 4 Zealot. 4 gateway Zealot with speed. Oh my gosh, I can't speak. A lot of these Hydras are going to get picked off. The Zealots actually need to pull back and wait for reinforcements. I can't believe he's sending the rest of these in. But I guess he's going to target down 2 more Hydras, possibly. Gets 1. Yeah, that was a little bit rough. The micro so far has been great for Zealot, and he's still producing Hydras. He wants to bust this. I don't know if he can do this, man. There are 5 gateways still. 5 gateways, and a 6th one is starting. He's just making Zealots. He doesn't have to even mine gas. He's mining gas with 1 probe. He is going to have so many Zealots here in a moment. Gonna run forward, try to get on top of this. Doesn't want to lose these Zealots though. We want to get up to a critical mass. Wait for the Hydras to engage with the cannons, and then you run forward, and then you just keep running forward. You don't stop. Don't let the Hydras kill the cannons, and then just keep chasing them down and running on top of them. Fighting the Hydras is the point of this build. You just want to kill the Hydras. And when your opponent knows that they're making this many Zealots, when the Zerg knows that you're making this many Zealots, he can't really make drones. He actually added a 2nd hatchery, or a 4th hatchery, excuse me. That's surprising. Managed to slip that out and gets a 2nd gas online. Maybe he's gonna go Lurker. I think that might be the case, but we don't have a layer yet. No layer, so I don't know. The 2nd gas, I guess, make sure that he has enough money for just pure Hydralisk production. That's so many Hydras, man. And he did kill the Forge. There's only 4 cannons back here. Still not really mining gas. He actually needs to get into Templar soon. That is so many Hydras. Oh my gosh. That is an insane number. 5 gateway Zealot. There's the Templar archives. He's going to start to mine that gas. Oh, dude, this is going to be wild. I mean, that is so many Hydras, man. That's 40 Hydras. Think about that. There's 1 supply per, and there's 20 drones. So 40 of that supply is Hydras. 47 Hydras now. And about 40 of them are at the front. How many Zealots are here? Probably like 30 Zealots, though. 30 Zealots versus 40 Hydras? I mean, this is starting to become a choke. This is a wide entrance, but it's starting to become a choke. The Zealots are not going to be able to get much surface area on this. But the cannons are going to help out a lot. Let's see how this goes. Here we go. Jumping on top of these Zealots. Zealots are getting kind of caught behind this. The cannons are doing some good damage. Just pulling back the Zealots as much as possible. Let the cannons do their job. Zealots are going to tank, and the cannons can deal the damage. A lot of the Zealots have already gone down. The Hydras are not falling nearly as quickly. A lot of Zealots here at the front, but they're dying so fast. He's finally going to pull the trigger, try to run forward. Oh, this is crazy. I think the Hydras are actually going to make the difference. The Templar pop out, but they don't have energy and they don't have Storm. And a Zealot is going to crush through this. Wow. Yeah, just smashes that defense. Very interesting game here, actually. You don't see a game like this very often. Usually what you see is the Hydras player, the Zerg player try to bust, and then the Zealots just overwhelm it, and then you're just stuck building Hydras to try and defend against 4-gate Zealots running around and just hitting all your different bases and kind of overwhelming your defenses, killing the Hydras as they're kind of popping out and trying to mount a defense. But you rarely see 40 Hydras piled up at the natural waiting to bust in, and then doing so against this 4-gate Zealot play. But well played by Zealot, and I guess that probably this is one of those situations I was talking about earlier where Brain he's never been in a situation like this, or maybe he's only been in it a couple of times and doesn't really know how to respond. He tried to get Templar out. It just didn't end up working for him. You can see Overlords were in here spotting everything, and Zealot times it out perfectly just before the storms come online. Interesting bust here from Zealot. Let's jump into our next game. Zealot really getting one over on Brain thus far. Brain having a hard time figuring out this guy, but I mean, that's nothing new. Even the best players in the world can struggle against Zealot at times. He's someone you really have to get used to, I think, playing against on the ladder. You have to practice a lot against him before you really start to recognize his style. And that's why he plays on barcodes most of the time, because he doesn't want players kind of figuring him out. Wants to stay anonymous so that he can practice his style without it being too well known. This is what he likes to do. I think most players have figured it out by now, though. Most players are on to him for sure. So he's gonna have to keep innovating. But now we've got Brain opening with a Forge expansion. Third base being taken immediately by Zealot. He's not gonna mess around with his drones trying to chase around the probe at the natural or anything like that. Just sends that drone directly. And since it's cross map, we're gonna see Brain try to get away with Nexus after Forge. It should be the case. He should be able to get away with this. Only 2 Lings are gonna be sent out. And so the natural will be taken. This is a pretty normal situation for a ladder match. Nothing really Zealot can do about this. He hasn't even scouted the location of his opponent yet. It's either bottom left or bottom right. He just doesn't know. And so, yes, Brain will get away with this. Will he stop the Zergling from running by, though? Okay, yeah, the Zergling hesitated for a second. Didn't go in immediately, and so it won't be able to run by and get a, get into the main, scout everything, be a little bit annoying. But it will be available to watch for extra probes coming out. Additional scouts. Looks like he's gonna pull it back for now. Just wait for this Overlord to make its way to the natural, figure out what his opponent is up to. Cybernetics Core on the way. Hydroden in the main. This is typical Zealot. He is actually gonna block the probe from getting into his main, but for how long? Okay, he does get the probe. Nice. Very nice snipe there. Good surround on that. And he has Hydralisk speed on the way. He's going to go ahead and Hydra Bust again. No shock there. This is Zelot's bread and butter. And a great way to play Zerg, honestly. I don't do this enough in my latter games. I'm trying to get better at macro play, but allowing the Protoss, just doing macro play allows the Protoss to take so much of the initiative. They get to decide what type of game they're going to play, and you just kind of have to react to it, which puts the burden on the Zerg a lot in a lot of ways. Just makes you responsible for figuring out what they're up to and kind of countering it. And if you're not a great player, like I'm definitely not a great player, it's tough. It's tough to figure out what their game plan is and react accordingly. So putting the pressure onto your opponent, it's like I said in a previous cast, right? It's a different style of gameplay. There's two types of players, right? Players who like to get into their comfort zone and players who like to make you feel uncomfortable, and Zelot's showcasing that make them feel uncomfortable style of play. He's sending the Hydras across the map. He's gonna put this guy in a situation where he has to build a ton of cannons, and in fact these are just kind of emergency cannons. As he flies out and sees the Hydras, he's gonna let these finish. Otherwise he could have decided to cancel those and it would have been fine. Instead, now he's gonna have 3 cannons by the time the Hydras arrive, and a 4th on the way, a 5th as well. He could possibly save this forge. We might see Zelot try to snipe these 2 or one of these cannons and then get the Hydras in an angle where he can hit that forge, but it's not the easiest to hit the forge here. Not the easiest, because we are vertical. It's a vertical bust. The forge is wider than it is tall, so it's easier to bust from left to right. Lining up the Hydras. This is typical Zelot play. He's ready to dive this. Let's see the hit squad running in here. 2 cannons go down so quickly, and the 3rd is going to fall as well. Great snipes. He does end up losing quite a few Hydras, though. There's about 5 Hydras that went down. The Zealots are still there. 2 body block, 3 more cannons on the way, 4 more cannons on the way. Hydros' number is increasing once again. He is so good at this style. So good at these type of busts. Storm is coming up. 6 drones and a lair hatchery. He's transitioning out of this. He's going to do an immediate transition. No gateways have been added for Brain. He is just praying that he can defend this, keeping probes at the front. Zelot has no intention of attacking in once again, though. No intention at all, and I think that Brain realizes that now. Yeah, he sends the probes back. This Corsair, you cannot lose this Corsair, by the way. If you're playing Protoss in a situation like this, killing an Overlord is great, but keeping this Corsair alive so that you can see when that transition is coming, that is paramount. It is the most important thing that you're gonna do. Probably in this game, right? If he didn't know that that the drones were coming now, he would be sitting back there just building cannons, hoping that he was gonna have, you know, Storm in time, and not adding on these gateways. But now that he sees this, 8 gateways are gonna be thrown down immediately. He's already added 4. Gonna add another 3 more here in a moment. He has that Storm. He's gonna get a DT out on the map as well. Well, it's gonna be a little tough to get the DT out, unfortunately. 2 Overlords there at the front. He's got the double forge. I would say this is a pretty even game. Nothing's crazy has happened so far. But Zelot has the initiative, right? He took the initiative. He forced the cannons. He put his opponent in a bad spot. He killed the forge. Double upgrades are coming, but his upgrade is on the way as well. He's got +1 coming. And I think this is going to be one of those games, one of those classical Zealot games, where we're going to see him take this 4th base, and then he's just going to stay on layer for the rest of the game. He is not going to mess around with Hive, trying to macro into some monstrous like action style Zerg play in the late game. He is just going to build a ton of lurkers, hydras, and eventually get into draw play, I imagine. Lurkers getting set up here at the front. If these finish and get burrowed, you're not going to be able to break that with just Zealots. Yeah. Zealots are not going to cut it now. Need to get into Dragoons, and I think he's already got Singularity Charge on the way. Dragoons have been made. Nice setup here in the main. Getting that box of gateways. That's definitely a skill that fastest possible map players have in spades. And so the Dragoons are already out in high numbers. Will he be able to break this initial containment? Or is he going to struggle to get through this? The first observer will be key. Keeping that alive is so important. And so he'll probably keep it just over the high ground, or over this high ground, and try not to let it get too close to the Hydralisk. Funny to have this small group over here on the side, hoping to catch something, but there's definitely an open space where things can slip through. DT does go down, but all the lurkers have been killed. Another round of lurkers is being made. He needs to buy time for this. Oh, great storm there on the left. Excellent storm on the right as well. This is definitely going to be broken. So Zealot, realizing that, he's going to back up. And Brain is now on the hunt. Where can he push Zealot's space? Is he going to push for the natural? This is looking wide open. This is looking wide open. This is looking wide open. Where is he going to go with his forces? The lurkers will have to react wherever he decides to go. If I'm Brain right now, pushing through this is going to be looking juicy, but maybe he just wants to go straight down the pipe. Just go up against these lurkers and try to kill these lurkers as soon as possible. Zealots are getting sent in a little bit ahead of the pack. They're taking quite a bit of damage. You do want to keep some of these Zealots alive. So he will back up. Got a couple of storms here. Some of the... okay. Good storm there. Those Templar were walking into a dangerous position. Moving a little bit too far ahead of the pack. The Brain has been stopped for now. 4 Zealots going to go down and deny this 4th base. Good little hit squad there, but reacting quickly. Zealot is going to be able to potentially block that. Got some Lings here along with these Hydras. Well, no, not with that many Hydras. He needs more Hydras than that. Lings, lots of Lings. Oh, he did go for Hive. Wow, I am surprised that he went for Hive. This is not typical Zealot play. The Hive here is not going to work out well for him for obvious reasons. He just does not have time to get into that tech. He's going to force back this army for now. Zealots chasing drones in bottom left. A little bit of an awkward situation. He's going to kill maybe both of these Archons. He's focusing them. Okay, he only gets 1. He's holding strong for now, but I mean, he's going to lose this base for sure. He's getting triple upgrades. He's got 1-1. Is +2 done? No, not yet. So these Ling, I mean, he's going for like a Ling build. This is really strange. Zealot's trying something new in this game, and it's not working well for him. Mass Ling. Mass Ling is the name of the game. Mass Ling, some lurkers mixed in as well. Just trying to get those upgrades online, but sitting on 3 bases, it's just not going to work out. Another base going up in the top right. If he can get some drones over there and actually get some saturation going, maybe there's a chance. But it's not looking good. These lurkers go down to bottom left. I don't know what they're doing down here. I guess to clear out these Zealots, but I think they would be much more useful on the defense. This base that's actually likely going to go down. Okay, the lurkers clear out some of those zealots, and he pushes stuff back. But here's Brain on 3 bases. Oh my gosh, and the drop in the main. Ooh. So much damage there. The storm drop. 4 kills on this Templar. Looks like 4 kills in the main as well. He's reduced the overall drone count by a lot. And Zelot is struggling to react to all of this. He has to kill this Templar. He's got to come back, kill this Templar. Oh my gosh, another 5-6 drones in the natural as well. Really taking advantage of the fact that Zelot does not have a Spire, and he is on the ropes. He's just barely hanging on, which is a great time to start throwing in Templar, because all your forces are going to be at the front. Like, you can't afford to have a bunch of Hydras at the back of these bases to defend, right? This is the perfect time to drop in some high temps, get some storm drops, kill off some of that economy, and while the drones are being remade, gear up for one last push, break this lurker number here at the center, and go in for the kill. There's just not enough for Zelot, and yeah, he is gonna finish this game off. Looks like Brain gonna get in a little win in game number 2. Zelot trying out some experimental stuff, and it just does not work for him this time. GG. Zelot taps. Brain gets a victory. Hey guys, just a reminder as we're going into this next game, there's a speed run challenge going on right now for the Starcraft, Broodwar, and just original Starcraft campaigns. If you're interested in experiencing some nostalgia and looking up some speedrun strats, maybe giving it a try yourself, or just watching the fun, go ahead and take a look at my link down in the description. There's prizes to be won. You can make some money if you are able to break one of those records, and no one else is able to break it after you. You earn, I think it's $3.50 per day if you hold a campaign record. So that can add up pretty quickly, and it's gonna last for an entire year. It actually started at the beginning of 2025. On January 4th, the event started, but it's going to end on the last day of 2025, the 31st of December. So there's potential money to be made there, guys. If you're interested, go check out the link. We're getting into this game now. Overpool from Zelot once again. It's a comfort build. I like this build a lot. This is what I do almost every game versus Protoss. There's a lot of different branches that can come from this build. We'll see which one Zelot chooses and whether or not he's willing to go out on a limb. He certainly went out on a limb last game. That was interesting, to say the least. I really thought he was going to stick with the style that he's used to and the style that we're used to watching him do. It's which is just go for mass lurker Hydra and maybe get into some drop play. For sure, he is strong with that style, and a little bit surprised to see him not go for that. You can build so many Hydras and lurkers if you get a 4th base up and you get that 4th gas ticking away. You only have a little bit over 1 drone per patch on each base, but you can just make so many Hydras and lurkers. You're not really spending much money on upgrades. You know, you get the lurker upgrade and then you get maybe +1, +2 on your Hydras. You might even opt to get +1 armor as well. Only if the game goes that long, you might decide to get +1 armor, but typically you're just going to get +2 attack, and you just make so many Hydras and lurkers. It's crazy how many lurkers you can pop out, and you have these masses and masses of forces bearing down on the Protoss player. Of course, the storms, you're going to have to dodge a lot of those, but if you start to utilize drops and you do a lot of counterattacks, hitting their 3rd base and preventing them from taking bases over and over again, you can just really just slowly tear them down bit by bit. They're gonna have to weather the storm and eventually get more bases online. It's on the Protoss to hold you off, to stop you from doing what you're trying to do and get some damage onto you, slow down your drone mining and get a drop going or something like that. But you can just put so much pressure, and he is going to put pressure on again this game. Zelot is going to send some Hydras over here and start to bust down this wall. This time it is horizontal, like I said before. Protoss buildings, and especially this all-important building, the Forge, is going to be wider than it is tall, so easier to snipe going horizontally with that bus. So 3 drones in the 3rd base. I don't see any units out on the map for Brain, but he started an extra cannon just in case. Probably needs to start a 3rd cannon and cancel that once the Corsair comes out to confirm everything. But now he sees Hydras at the front. Definitely time to pull off of gas and start to throw down some extra cannons. I'm surprised we haven't seen some already. 3 Hydras hitting this wall, and he is not reacting very quickly. Finally gonna throw down 2 cannons. But is this too late? A 4th cannon? Oh my gosh, what are we doing? I think that Zelot might just bust this. He's looking prime and ready to do so. Look at him lining these Hydras up. He is so good at doing this, by the way. So damn good at doing this, and he knows exactly how many he needs to bust. He's ready. Send the Lings in first, tank some damage, and then the Hydras will go next. Look at how precise he is with this bust, and how quick he is at getting all the Hydras into that front line. 2 cannons go down. Gonna go after a 3rd cannon as well. The 4th cannon is being targeted. The Zealots are doing a lot of damage in the meantime. Probes are helping out as well, but the cannons still need more time to warp in, and they're just not quite there yet. All the probes are going to be pulled now. I bet he is regretting not adding on these cannons a little bit sooner. You cannot underestimate Zelot in these type of situation, man. He is going to bust you. And yeah, I think he's done it. He's made it through. He's going to kill all the probes, and then the cannons are going to be easy pickings. They're only half. Oh no, this one's actually done. I guess it took a lot of damage, so it looks like it's only halfway done, but there it is. He kills the last cannon. All the probes are gone, and GG will have to be called. 2 DTs are popping out, and so he's gonna hang in there for a moment, but the pylon's gonna be targeted. Yeah, that pylon is gonna go down super quick. Oh, the DTs. Oh, 99% done, but not close enough. There it is. Zelot takes another win. Brain is out of this game. Just, you gotta respect it, man. You gotta respect it. Get those extra cannons going as soon as possible, and stop mining your gas, for God's sake. You don't need the 2nd gas if you're just gonna be making cannons and gateways. I mean, he does want to get DTs out, obviously, but you just need to get those cannons up. And he wasn't able to do it in time. Excellent bust by Zelot. Well, by this point, you should think that Brain has started to figure out what's going on. Gonna be sitting up in his chair now. A little bit more alert for the early games and the shenanigans that Zelot has been pulling out. Getting extra cannons early on and just waiting to cancel them. Once he scouts what's happening, I think that's going to be the right call. Not focusing too hard on the gas units. You know, it's funny because the first game, I felt like he really handled it well. He made the right choice. Just get a bunch of gateways out, start firing up a huge amount of Zealots, and get the Zealot speed going right away. It's just, he maybe overcommitted with the first few Zealots and wasn't able to get that ball rolling to where he's got way more Zealots than the Hydras can handle, and then you start chasing them back across the map, and then Zelot was able to just pile on the Hydras. And so I think that Brain was worried about that same situation happening in the last game. He's thinking that he just wants to get his tech out as quickly as possible, get into DTs and High Templars so that he can stop that. But he didn't buy himself enough time, and yeah, you really do have to walk that tightrope, which is so difficult to do. Ooh, the base being taken at 6. That's interesting. So another close proximity hatchery to the natural wall of Brain. And again, it's probably going to be a bust. Oh god, he almost loses the probe right off the bat. I wouldn't be surprised to see him just build lings. Yeah. 2 more sets of lings are on the way. Is he just going to run by this wall? I wouldn't be surprised in the least. You cannot be losing your early probe. You just can't do it. It's not acceptable at this level of play. These guys are some of the highest ranked on the ladder. And Brain making a mistake like that is going to cost him. He's just going to make a ton of lings and run by this wall. There's a huge opening on the top side of that. And there's just one cannon. Zealot is almost done, but lings are incoming. How many are there? 10 ready to go. 4 more on the way. Here he goes. Just going to run right past this wall, jump on top of the cannon. That's going to be taken out. Zealot pops, but it's too late. Lings are in here. He cancels the cybernetics core because he knows he needs money for another cannon and an extra Zealot. He's not going to be getting that much income due to the fact that his probes are forced off the line in the natural. Going after the gateway, trying to kill the Nexus. Now, attacking the Nexus is not because he wants to kill the Nexus, but he wants to put pressure on the probes. He wants to force the probes to come off the line to fight, rather than running in and fighting the probes on the minerals where they can kind of dodge back and forth and start to deal damage. Oh god, jumping on the cannon. That thing is going to go down so quickly, and there it is. Speed finishes up as well after this. The Zealot gets surrounded. GG. Yeah, you hit the... If you go next to the probes, they can jump in between the geyser and the mineral patches, make like a big clump, and then bug out the AI of the lings, and actually take a pretty reasonable trade with them. But if you attack the Nexus and you start to deal a lot of damage to it, the probes have to come and fight, and then they don't have anywhere to mineral walk to get on top of your units to actually deal any reasonable damage. They just fight, and the lings take that fight easily. So really good understanding of how to play out a situation like this from Zealot. He handles this man with ease, taking out the Protoss because that one probe died. That all came back to that one probe death. And so we'll have to see better play out of Brain if he wants to take any games off of Zealot this series. I should have said any more games off of Zealot this series, because he did take that one game, right? He did beat Zealot one time where Zealot had that awkward transition into Hive. And so we shouldn't forget about that. Kind of an experimental play by him, obviously not working out properly. Now we're here on Minstrel with Zealot in top left. Brain. This is a interesting map. This is a map where things can get kind of dicey in late game. We'll see if it ends up going that far. But it's only a 2-player map. You're going to be able to send the probe and potentially block hatcheries. Oh, look at this. He's just going to send the drone immediately. Oh, no, he's not. All right, he checks to see if there's a probe incoming, because you can definitely block if you want to. He's not going to do that. Instead, Forge Nexus, no scout until now. That's pretty wild. Or is he not going to scout at all? Scout after cannon? Interesting. So he's relying on the fact that Zealot's not going to switch up his playstyle. He's just going to continue with Overpool. And I think if Zealot re-watches this replay, he's going to say, I need to throw in a 9 a 9 pool every once in a while. Otherwise, this guy's gonna start abusing me. Because that is some really, really, not greedy, but very optimized play against 9 pool. Forge, Nexus, Cannon. The Cannon finishes just in time to stop any Lings from dealing any damage at all. And the Nexus comes up as fast as possible. More drones being made. Only 2 Lings were made this game, so that's something. I'm always shocked, though, when the Lings aren't sent out. They just sit on the ramp. Because if I ever do this, the Protoss just cannons me. They just build cannons over at my 3rd. And then I cry and leave the game because that really sucks. But not going to be the case with Brain this game. He is optimizing his build. Try to get the best opener that he can while keeping this probe alive. Hasn't made that mistake again. Hasn't been able to get into the main either, though, so he hasn't seen that Hydralisk Den. It's funny. Every single game, Zealot goes Hydra Den. It's just so good with this style of play. It's like most Zerg players, you're like, man, are you gonna go Hydra Den? You gotta get in there and find out. No, he's always going Hydra Den. He just doesn't stop. He just always does it. And so the Protoss probe just hanging out in the front, playing Ring Around the Rosie with this single Zergling that's been tasked with chasing down this slippery probe. Got the Stargate. No second cannon yet. He knows he's got some time. If Hydras do start to pop out, he can immediately throw that down. As long as he's got the probe still alive here. He's actually sending a Zealot into the 3rd as well. That's some sneaky play. That's going to actually force the Hydralisk back for a while, too. Which is going to be annoying. Yeah, they're going to have to stay and deal with this. And so he's definitely going to have enough time to get some extra cannons online. Sending in a Zealot in towards the main base at the same time. This is also very sneaky, good play from Brain. He sees the Hydras and how many there are. Immediately drops a couple of cannons. I'd love to see, yeah, there's the Citadel, but will he drop some more gateways in the main? If he goes to 4-gate Zealot with speed immediately, I think that's going to be amazing for the defense. I don't want to see him like change up. Nah, he goes for a Templar Archives. Okay, fine. Templar Archives, because he's gonna kill this Overlord at the front, I guess it's good. It's good enough. Go for DTs this game. That should be enough to hold. Not minding on this gas. He's learning. He's learning. That's great. Or at least he's remembering. He's remembering what he needs to do. When the Hydralisk bus is coming, you don't need that much gas. You need cannons. You need a lot of cannons because a lot of Hydras are coming. This is not a joke. Zelot is not playing around. He is coming. And there's only 3 cannons done, man. I gotta say, that feels like a mistake. It feels like a real mistake. Corsair has 1 kill. He's driven back the other Overlord. And he's scouting around for another Overlord, but I think he's gonna have the DT out in time. Yeah, there's no way that the gateway dies before this is done, but maybe all the cannons will. The cannons are going down quickly, man. 3 cannons have died already. There's the DT, and as that starts to attack, will he continue to pull the trigger on this? He will. Running forward, he kills another cannon. He's gonna get this other one before he gets a shot off. The DTs are great. They do a lot of damage, but if Zealot keeps running around, the probes will die way faster than the Hydras. Wow, so much probe damage here. Oh my god, every probe. Every single probe in the natural. The main is going to be under attack now as well. The probe's being pulled to try and block the Hydras coming up the ramp. Zealot not microing those Hydras. They're going to be dead pretty quickly. A lot of Hydras actually going down there at the front. Zealot is trying to probably drone behind this. No, he's actually making more Hydras. Just continuing the Hydras production. Bring another DT over here to the natural. Where's that DT? It's in the main. The DT should be at the ramp there to just stop things from coming up. More probes have been killed. 15 probes are all that remains. Yes, block the ramp. Oh my god, these Hydras get in. They might even get some more kills. 16, that's it. He's got way less probes than there are drones, and there are not many drones. The DTs can go out now. Lair is on the way, so eventually he's gonna get into Overlord speed, but Brain is just, he is in such a bad way. Let's see if he can deal any damage on the other side. He's got these Corsairs, which should have some kills on them. Not sure exactly which one has all the kills. I guess there's only 2 kills total. So he gets a 3rd. He will get a 4th as well. The DTs get forced back. There's a few too many Hydras over at this 3rd base, though. He is supply block for the moment. Okay, maybe he can fight this. Can he just fight this? That's 4 DTs, man. 4 DTs kills pretty quickly. Oh boy, he kills the Overlord. Is there another Overlord in production? Yes, the Overlords are almost out here, but all the drones die so quick. He's starting to kill the eggs as well. Can he get this egg? Oh, the Overlord pops. There it is. Overlord is out. Can he kill all the DTs? He gets 1. And the DTs run away. A DT in the main, though. Oh my god, this one with 12 kills. I think that was the hero DT that was over there in the main base of the Protoss defending. That thing has so many kills now. 17 kills. 17 kill DT, man. That is insane. There's only 21 workers left for Zealot. Dude, he is really struggling against this. His Overlord speed is not done. It's not even near done. And there's no Overlord at the natural. Oh my gosh. The Overlord at the natural left to try and deal with this DT in the main base. And so now he's dealing damage in the natural as well. This Overlord is everything. He's got to keep that alive. Another Overlord gonna pop at this base. Trying to push back these, Oh wait, did he lose that? No, it's there. The Overlord is there. The Hatcher's getting close to death. Gonna come in, try to fight these, Hydras once again. He gets 1 Hydra, loses his DT though. Is he gonna lose the natural? Oh, it's so close. Oh, it's so close. Is he gonna lose it? 200, 100, 88. Oh, judge. Oh, 5 HP. Oh my gosh. There's no way. He's gonna loop around with this DT. The hero DT. Can he get the hatchery? Oh my gosh. It's gonna be blocked on the ramp. He gets it. Oh, the hero DT not able to get that damage. Some more kills in the 3rd base though. Unbelievable that he managed to save that. And now finally Overlord speed is done. Quite the back and forth in this early game between Brain and Zealot. And continue to lose Overlords though, and he's got to keep a lot of stuff. I would not leave this hatchery. Yeah, go back. Yeah, that Overlord's dead. Just let it go. Can't be losing this hatchery though. That hatchery is keeping him alive in this game. If that was gone, you might as well tap out at this point. It's gonna be rough. Lurker aspect on the way. Such a scrappy game. We're definitely gonna see, I think, layer play. I said that last time. I guess that was game number 1, but this time I'm almost certain that's gonna be, yeah, there it is. Ventral Sacs on the way. Drop play. And just crazy layer tech. 38 HP on this hatchery. Please drop another hatchery there. For the love of God, Zealot. Corsairs gonna come into this base. They see the number of Hydras though. They can't really take that Overlord. Zealot's looking to snipe that hatchery. They only need like 2 hits a piece. They should be able to kill it. But the Hydra number is a little bit too high. Those Zealots will just die for free. But it would be nice to just put the Zealots over here. Just leave them over there. and then get that push going with the Templar, because he has to come out and fight the Templar and try to snipe them before they get all the way to his natural. And if he comes out to fight that, then the Zealots slip by and kill the hatchery. It's an easy snipe, so I think that would be strong. I can't believe we're at this point where there's 47 probes when it was down to just 16 after that bust, but he did enough damage with the DTs, that's for sure. With all that damage, things are looking kind of even. 44 workers to 47. He's got Lurker. That's the 4th base on the way. Spire's gonna come up as well. I can't believe he hasn't made another hatchery here. What are we doing? That seems insane to me. We're definitely gonna have enough money to spend to utilize that extra hatchery for sure, right? 43 workers. We're only on what, 4 hatcheries? The 5th one is coming up, or just came up. Counterattack going around towards that 3rd base. Meanwhile, this is coming up on the high ground. I think this is a very scary push. Lurkers are actually coming around the wrong side. This is definitely a mistake by Zealot. Those forces are never going to reach their destination. Meanwhile, Corsairs in the natural, dealing a lot of damage. Lurkers burrow. There's no observer in this area. Almost gets the snipe on that. 1 HP on the High Templar. A bunch of overlords go down during that chaos. Brain just gonna take this space instead while the forces sit up here on the high ground. Interesting little trade. More overlords gonna go down. Oh god, he was setting up for maybe a drop later on, but the overlords are all gonna fall. 53. That's all the open supply he has. And so needs to build 9 overlords. That's 900 minerals forced out of Zealot's coffers. He's not going to be able to make Hydras or Lurkers with that money. And so there's going to be a lull in production for a little bit from Zealot. But he's getting back into drones now. We'll get up to around that 50 mark. Just getting enough drones on these mineral patches, 1 per patch, and then gas saturated would be enough. That would be good. He's gonna load 4 Hydras, 2 Lurkers into an Overlord and try to drop into the main. He can overwhelm that cannon, no problem, but he's losing Overlords here in front of his natural, and he's only got a couple of Lurkers on his defense. 2 Lurkers and 4 Hydras will kill that cannon. The Lurkers back at home are going to be killed though, and the Hydras get stormed pretty brutally. Oh my gosh, those storms. And he can kill this hatchery, guys. This hatchery, don't forget, is super low, and the Templar get on top of the drones, killing off all this stuff. Oh my gosh, there goes the hatch. Hydras are heading in an awkward direction. I'm not sure where they're off to, but he's controlling a bit of the main, and he actually killed the observatory, which is kind of big. The observatory is dead. And so, is there... Oh my god! Oh! Just caught the tail end of that. This Archon's gonna have a lot of kills, I tell you. Another drop over here into the natural. If he kills the cannon... Oh, but there's storms. Nice job picking up one of those Lurkers and just running with it. Storm's gonna come out. That'll die, but this one's still alive. Still annoying. Oh, I didn't get to see how many kills were on that, unfortunately. It was a lot. We'll say that. A lot of kills. Oh no, there's the observatory. Okay, sorry. Observatory's still alive. And an observer did pop out. But now it's dead. Now it's been sniped. Gonna get this pylon as well. Getting close. Looks like he will get it. No upgrades coming for this. No, 12 HP. That will survive. That's funny. Oh wait, he did target it down. Or accidentally killed it. It dies, and now these are unpowered. Still, he has the building, so he can make Templar. Doesn't need to be powered to make those. Some storms here at the front. I think he only has one observer, so if that observer ends up getting sniped, I don't know what he's gonna do. Only 29 workers. He's managed to put together some sort of a force. He has something going for him, but he's struggling to deal any damage with it. He's actually gonna dive into the main with some more drops. Looks like these will actually make it somehow, but the Hydra's just running into the cannons. What am I seeing? Oh my gosh. That was crazy. Hydras end up dead. Can target down the Templar Archives. He's actually gonna go for the Nexus in the main, which is a little bit surprising. Another drop into the natural. Getting crazy here. Zealot just trying to get something done. He hasn't been making anything except for Hydras. In fact, he hasn't added any additional drones at all. You can see his saturation is terrible on 3 bases, whereas the Protoss still has quite a bit. Protoss still has quite a lot. 43 workers and 3 bases. Well, only 2 bases now that this Nexus has died. But I think that's enough. I think that Brain may have just done it. The DT play was good enough, and the follow-up push was strong enough to just take Zealot out of this game. However, I guess Zealot still has a few forces. He's gonna try and make this work. Kills a Dragoon, but he can't take a fight head on. He's gotta like finesse this game out. There's really no other way than that. He's not even gonna build any overlords. He's just building lurkers. That is it. Lurkers and Hydras are the only thing on the way. I'm gonna try to harass this mineral line. Might try to come in for another drop. He's still got lurkers on this side. Zealots are gonna push down this angle, but Hydras are ready for that. Brain gonna maneuver around and try to deal with this. He's been forced onto 1 base. He's only mining in the natural, which is something. That is something. Can he actually snipe this observer? No snipe on the observers. And so the lurkers and Hydras will be pushed away. I think that's it. He's got 4 overlords in production and 5 Hydras coming. The army that's going across the map is a bit too scary. He's got +2. +2 +1 is done for these Zealots and Dragoons, though. Looks like he's gonna stop this little Zealot counter push. That Zealot counter will be halted in its tracks. But this attack, it looks too strong to defeat. That's so many Templar. That's a ton of Storm. It would need the perfect Storm dodges. And even then, I don't know if it's possible. These are gonna have 2 Storms shortly. Only 1 for now, but he gets on top of the Lurker eggs. Storms those Lurker eggs, they end up all going down. Storms on the high grounds. That was not the perfect dodge, but there's still like 5 more Storms remaining, and so it's pretty much doomed. 10 Hydras on the way. They're all gonna pop out and likely die immediately. Storm on the drones, dropping him back down to 28 workers, whereas I mean 39. Is he actually losing some workers somewhere? I'm not sure. No, thought he had over 40, but maybe something died somewhere out on the map. I'm not sure. Dragoons surrounded by Hydras. Templar building energy though, and they have enough for 2 Storms. This is a sad state. A sad state of affairs is when Dragoons are sitting on top of your hatcheries, killing every Hydra as it pops out. More Storms for the drones. Zealots come in to finish the job. Zealot's gonna have to tap. Brain gets the victory. What an insane game, guys. That was some utter chaos as the counterattack from Brain pulls him apart. I mean, I want to see more games like that, honestly. I'm happy to watch some busts, but that was really fun to see Brain make it into the mid game with so little chance of actually taking the game. Find a way to come back with just DTs and Corsairs, the Bisu style, to get on top of those drones and start picking them off. Almost got the hatchery at the natural. Finally did manage to snipe that in the end. But a great game overall from both players. Zelot hanging in there, being very tenacious and trying absolutely everything to make this game work. He almost managed to do it. He forced, look at, this is all the money. He was gonna have to start long distance mining his main there, Brain, if he wasn't able to stop this third base from being denied. But he did manage to get that mining again, and so he's just got too much income. Let's jump into our next game. DT madness in that last game. Has Brain figured out the antidote to dealing with Hydra Bus coming from Zelot? I think that was a great decision-making process, right? He sends out the early Zealots to go and kind of harass and keep back the Hydras until his Corsair can kill the front Overlord. And then once that front man Overlord is dead, is just going to be able to push in or push out with the DTs, save his base with the DTs, and then go on the attack, go on the offensive. If you got the DTs out a little bit faster, or if he had had a few more cannons in that last game, it would have been even more one-sided, or it would have been actually one-sided. It was not one-sided at all. That last game, that was intense, with Brain barely able to sneak that victory out. We don't have a third hatchery just yet, and the gas is already building. Zelot has some tricks up his sleeve, let me tell you that. He is gonna pull out something fancy to make Brain wish he never built DTs in that last game. Let's see what he's got for us. Lings coming out. A pylon gets made over at the third. That's interesting. I think that's just going to be attacked by 2 Lings while more Lings pop out and come to challenge this Zealot. He has Ling speed on the way. Will he pull off of gas? We're going to see a layer, boys. Layer is going to be coming online here soon. Zealot going into 2 hatch layer. You know you're going to get some weirdness. Get some awkward play. Try to surround this probe. Can he get the probe? I can't believe he's not targeting the probe. Had a couple of opportunities there. He does get the Zealot in the corner. Second Zealot makes his way over to the natural. And he's going to get in here and see the layer when it starts. I think for sure he's going to see that. Oh. Okay, keep the drones alive. Good job. Ling speed is about to finish. A lot more Lings are being made. He's pulling probes to the natural. The Lings are already here. Uh-oh. Lings are in position. They're going to be able to run by. That Zealot pops out. But it's not going to be enough to stop the Lings from getting in. This Zealot's still alive in the main. Still microing in the main is kind of crazy, considering he's dealing with so much back at home. The pylon is going to be targeted. And GG is called. The 2 hatch play from Zealot is going to be enough, as that Zealot falls in his main base and the Lings are clearing out that pylon. Brain just gonna tap. Interesting. Well, Brain getting a little bit too familiar, getting a little too friendly with those Zealots going across the map and trying to get some damage. I think the big problem was that the Zealot tucked back in this corner is not in a good spot. If you want to tuck your Zealot, you should tuck it up in this corner. And that would have bought some more time for the Zealot to pop out in the natural. And if the Zealot gets in the natural with the 2 probes right here, you can hold off for a lot longer. Now, I think that was the issue that we saw. And also, Zealot didn't panic when he saw this extra Zealot come into the main base. I know I'm saying Zealot a lot, Jesus. But as the Zealot came into the main base, he didn't panic and bring his Lings back from this part to deal with that. He just stayed very calm, pulled the drones away that were getting targeted, and allowed his Lings that were popping out to deal with that while going across for the counter. This is an excellent bust from Zealot. The early game shenanigans are just not going to fly with this guy. He is so good at putting on that pressure and tearing players apart. Brain's gonna have to think of something else. I like the Forge play from him better. I don't think he's ready to take on Zealot with that gateway play just yet. Yeah, Brain, like I said, one of the best, fastest, maybe the best, fastest possible map player in the world for Broodwar. That was one of the fastest possible games, I think, that last one. Unless you're, you know, Nexus first and the opponent goes 9 pool or something like that. That might be a little bit faster. Oh, he's opening gateway again. Really? I thought he would default back to Forge. Like Forge Nexus. I thought that was really smart what Brain did in that one game. He just came out, built the Forge, built the Nexus, built a cannon, and then sent the scout. And he was completely fine. Because all that Zealot's been doing this whole series is just try to go into overpool. This is a very fast gas, by the way. This gas really early. And so we're gonna see some more shenanigans out of Zealot. Exactly what we expect. Lings finally come out here. Gonna drive that probe away. His Hatcher is forced over to the 3rd. I think he might have just sent that immediately, knowing that the probe would be there. So I guess he's still gonna take his natural. However, it's gonna get weird. It never feels comfortable like this. He does get the probe. It never feels comfortable playing like this when you like, you don't have money. You really don't have money to get your natural. Like, there's no way. He's sitting here with just 6 drones on mineral patches. 7 now. There's 8. But he just doesn't have the cash to drop this. So he's gonna be split between these 2 bases for a while. He's sending Lings over to the natural. This probe manages to just barely get around the Lings. And so he might be able to get a good scout off. See if there's a layer incoming. There's definitely enough gas for a layer. But he's only mining on one drone on gas now. Oh, the Zealots are gonna get surrounded. That was a little bit risky from Brain. He's losing almost all the Zealots, trying to save the gateway. Reforms this wall with the probe Zealot. But man, is it getting low. He has to kind of come out to fight this, but I think we're just gonna see Zealot bust once again with the speed finishing up and the cannon's not done. Oh, he makes a Forge in there. That was a great play by Brain, but it just targets down the Forge. Great block here with the Lings, but is it going to be enough? Oh, it's so close. But he jumps back onto the next cannon, and with that cannon being surrounded and killed, there's certainly no way for Brain to hold on in this game, and he will tap out. Fastest possible map. Be damned. Eat your heart out. Zealot. He knows how to play fastest possible map. He's been playing it in low money for as long as I can remember. GG. Zealot takes most of these games away. Brain manages to take home 2 victories, I believe, this series. But it was just a little warm up here, guys. This was a quick series. What was this, 5 games? 7 games? I can't quite remember, but that was a lot of games, but we've hardly passed the hour mark, I bet. Anyways, that's it for today. Thanks for watching. GG. See you next time.